Sound suppression water system is being armed. T-minus 1 minute. But oxygen and liquid hydrogen fill-in drain valves are closed. T-minus 40 seconds, handing off to Atlantis' computers at T-minus 31. T-minus 35, 33.
Clock will hold at T-minus 31 seconds due to a failure.
And we have had a failure. Ground lock sequencer.
We have a problem on the 3 track switches. NTDSP. Go ahead. But sir, we need guys to go do the verification per the LCC, please. Alright, C-Mac?
Yes, C-Mac. The LCC says we need to verify using a camera, and we're positioning camera 62 right now.
Okay, let us know as soon as 62 is swung over and you can verify LCC for GVA retract, please.
And officers, now we're holding here 31 seconds while we get a verification that the GVA has fully retracted. For our pre-plan.
We have a hold now at 31 seconds.
Verify retracted.
What is that they're discussing that needs to be retracted right now?
Retraction, which is a liquid oxygen, part of the fuel they need to get into these engines. The thing that feeds that oxygen may not have fully retracted. They're just checking that out.
Okay.
But they only have a few minutes to get this off, to get to the space station. It's like firing a bullet and another bullet, so they got to go quick.
Alright, very good.
NTDSP.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I need concurrence with GLS and mass to clear the hold, please.
Very good. And GLS, do you have concurrence? Go.
We got it, it works.
Thank you. Let us know when that's complete.
Next, do we have anyone?
All right, guys.
Just a reminder for folks, our launch back hold time is 3 minutes and 16 seconds.
NTDC, GLS 1212, we're ready to go.
Alright, very good. And launch director, with that cleanup, we're going to go ahead and proceed. Yes, sir, please do. Alright, and all personnel, we are going to pick up the clock here momentarily. And GLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
Copy that. Countdown clock will resume on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
T-minus.
Bravo, sequence start.
Handoff to Atlantis' computers has occurred. Solid rocket booster nozzle steering check and work.
20.
Firing chain is armed.
15.
Go for main engine start. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis on the shoulders of the space shuttle. America will continue the dream.
Roger roll, Atlantis. Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis. The space shuttle spreads its wings one final time for the start of a sentimental journey into history. 24 seconds into the flight, roll program complete. Atlantis now heads down, wings level on the proper alignment for its 8.5-minute ride to orbit. 4.5 million pounds of hardware and humans taking aim on the International Space Station. 40 seconds into the flight, the 3 liquid fuel main engines throttling back to 72% of rated performance in the bucket, reducing stress on the shuttle as it goes transonic for the final time. Engines now revving up, standing by for the throttle up call.
Atlantis, go and throttle up, no action, DPDT.
Go and throttle up, no action on DPDT.
That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore, a transducer, instrumentation only, no action required. 15 miles in altitude, already 16 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 1 minute 40 seconds into the flight. Atlantis flexing its muscles one final time. Atlantis traveling almost 2,600 miles an hour, 21 miles in altitude, 24 miles downrange. Standing by for solid rocket booster separation. Booster officer confirms staging a good solid rocket booster separation. Guidance now converging. The main engine steering the shuttle on a pinpoint path to its preliminary orbit. 2 minutes 20 seconds into the flight. Atlantis already traveling 3,200 miles an hour, 35 miles in altitude, 50 miles downrange. The propulsion officer reports the orbital maneuvering system engines have ignited. Atlantis kicking on its afterburners for 1 minute 23 seconds for the final phase of powered flight.
Atlantis, 2-engine towel.
Let's bring back in Francis. Even these pictures 7 years ago, 8 years ago, we didn't have these pictures. The most fascinating thing, we saw the booster rockets disconnect there. Can you talk us through what's going on right now?
Right now, those booster rockets fell away. Those were the solid rockets. They will burn until they finish. They're like fireworks. So those were kind of the most dangerous part of the mission. Once those are gone, now they're able to shut down those engines on the back. The big orange tank you're seeing at the bottom of the screen is the fuel to those engines on the shuttle. Basically, what you're seeing is you're looking underneath the shuttle. You can see that little bit of wing sticking out there. And the other part of what you're seeing is a big orange tank underneath it there. So they're on their way into orbit right now. Everything's looking really good. And one of those amazing moments. You just saw history. We're never going to see this again.
I know. We've all watched that happen together. Francis, how long is this part of this going to take? I think we said about 8 minutes total.
It's about 8 minutes to orbit. Okay. It's about the distance from San Diego to LA in 8 minutes. That's a very, very quick ride.
Wow.
Once they get into orbit, though, they've got to catch up with the space station, which is in a slightly different orbit. So they're going to be up there gradually catching up with the space station, and we'll dock with it and deliver all the supplies, which is the main point of this mission, to deliver a whole load of backup supplies to the space station so that they've got enough stuff that they need before we have the next manned mission, whatever that's going to be, getting us up to the space station.
Of course, that's going to involve the Soyuz and the Russian space capsule while the U.S. works on the future of the space program. And it looks like, I think NASA was talking about the next generation won't be a shuttle fleet. It's going to be kind of going back to the capsule days of NASA, correct? Is that kind of what the plan is now? Indeed, the shuttle is an incredible vehicle that was designed to do way more than it was actually ever asked to do. It's a winged vehicle. They've realized they don't necessarily need wings. They can really need something a little simpler that's going to take people up and back, take cargo up and back, and let NASA really concentrate on getting back out into the solar system. But you're quite right, we have that space station up there. People think this is the end of the human space program. It's not. We've got a space station up there bigger than a football field, which we have had a permanent American presence on since 2001, and that's going to continue.
Yeah, that's what I think the impression is when we say that this is the last shuttle program, that this is really, it's over, which really, this is a step forward.
Indeed, you can go out many nights in San Diego and watch that huge light. The only thing that's brighter out there is the moon. Come over San Diego and realize that's something that we built. That's up there, and like I say, bigger than a football field. And next time you stand on a football field, try and imagine something that big.
It's unbelievable. You know what I find interesting in kind of knowing a little bit about the shuttle program is that originally I think they intended to have the shuttle make probably a few dozen trips to space when it first started, and then they realized, well, maybe that's not really what's going to happen. So we've had, this is the 135th and final mission, correct? In 30 years.
Yes. Yeah, it never quite delivered as well as they were hoping for. They were hoping after going to the moon this was going to be a routine, low-cost access to space. Space is a very expensive, unforgiving, brutal environment to work in. And I think they realized sometimes simpler is better, which is why they're going back to those non-wing vehicles.
Look at the rotation now. It's just amazing. It's just amazing to look at, man.
Oh. Indeed. Right now they're
looking over,
and you're seeing the sun begin to hit those very fragile tiles on the bottom of the shuttle. And they're getting ready to dump off that big external tank. The next thing we'll see in the sequence of the mission is that tank falling away. Sometimes the camera will capture that.
And that's an impressive moment. And those heat shield, the tiles, have become so critical in the safety and the inspections of the shuttle. That's why when they disconnect and they hook up with the ISS, that's when it does the revolution and the upside down. And that's always an incredible thing to see and witness.
Indeed, and the 4 people in that shuttle right now, they've seen this before, and they're very, very busy right now, but I bet they're sneaking a view of that beautiful horizon right now, too.
About how many minutes away are we from seeing the tank disconnect from the shuttle?
It's usually right after they do this turnover, but it depends on the mission and depends on the orbit, but we should be seeing it.
Because I tell you what, if there's any way that we can just hold on to this until that moment happens, I mean, that's just something special to see, because right now...
that we will be in good shape for the orientation of Atlantis for external tank photography following main engine cutoff. Now 7 minutes into the flight.
Yeah, so 7 minutes into it. So we're not really even in orbit yet. We still have about another minute and a half to go.
They're still burning those main engines on the back. You're not seeing any smoke there because they are already in orbit.
1,000 miles an hour.
So I think in about 20 seconds from now is when we're going to see...
The main engines will soon be throttling down once again to limit the stress on the shuttle and its 4 crew members to that of 3 times the effective gravity. Atlantis currently traveling at a speed of more than 4 miles a second.
4 miles a second? Good grief, Francis. I tell you what,
1 minute of powered flight.
The first time that we saw that tank disconnecting, we actually saw it happen when they had those cameras on there. I mean, I remember I got goosebumps the first time I saw that, and it's still an exciting thing to see, isn't it? So, describe what we're going to see. It literally falls off under the side of the...
This is an automated camera that's on that external fuel tank. You do not want to be a cameraman on that tank, that's for sure. So this is an automatic camera that will burn up after this. Right now it's sending these automatic signals back. So they can really look at the bottom of the shuttle, see if anything fell off. You remember they have had incidents with foam coming off this tank in the past and hitting the wing. They're going to be studying this footage very, very carefully in the next few minutes, just making sure that nothing came off and struck the shuttle on the way up. So they're going to be looking really carefully at this from an engineering point of view.